everyone, and welcome to my first car review. Now this review is of my personal 2002 Toyota Corolla LE. I do want to go ahead and apologize in advance for the shakiness of this video and the fact that I have to overlay the audio, but when I record this it was 117 degrees outside and I did not want to be outside for any longer than I had to be. So since this is a personal review, I'm going to go over my personal history with this car and just a general overview of the Toyota Corolla. So this here is the 8th generation Toyota Corolla, which ran from 1998 to 2002. Now that is a very short lifespan, but it did bring a lot into the Corolla timeline. The 8th generation didn't change much over that short lifespan, but in 2000 it did get an update to the front fascia and the transmission and engine options. Now this Corolla came into my life around 2007 when my grandma bought it. She bought it as the second owner with around 100,000 miles. Now in the 9 to 10 years that my grandma had it, she only added around 14,000 miles on it. I know this because last year in 2017 when I obtained this car, it had around 114,000 miles, but now a year later it's getting close to 140,000, so I've definitely racked on the miles and the memories with this Corolla. So, thank you for listening to me ramble for about a minute and a half, and now I'm going to show you the inside and under the hood and in the trunk of this 8th generation Toyota Corolla. Now under the hood of the 2002 Toyota Corolla is a 1.8 liter 4-cylinder engine that was rated at 125 horsepower and 125 foot-pounds of torque when it was new, but I can promise you it's not making that anymore. Now for the 2002 model year, you can either get a 5-speed manual or a 4-speed automatic. But as I said, in 2000, the Corolla did get a minor update, which before then you could also get a 3-speed automatic in the VE trims. Also in 2000, the Corolla's engine had a minor upgrade where it added variable valve timing, which just added to the Corolla's oil consumption issues. Luckily, this Corolla does not have those oil consumption issues as bad as some other people, and I am keeping a watchful eye on it. Also lucky for me and this Corolla is this thing is dead simple to work on, so if you're a backyard mechanic like I am, this is a great car to learn on. Everything is easy and cheap to get, easy to access, and it's either a 10 or 12 millimeter bolt to get to it. As you can see, this Corolla has power door locks, mirrors, and windows. Next to the mirror control is a little change cubby and a gauge dimmer switch. This Corolla has a tachometer, but some lower end models have a very basic gauge cluster without a tach, and I'm very grateful that I have this one with the tach. There you can see the wiper controls, which are variable speed unlike the 10th generation Corolla, and every 8th gen has this little pod with your radio, clock, hazard switches, and air vents. I installed a Pioneer radio and I absolutely love it. Underneath that you can see your very simple climate control, a very large CD storage slot, pop-out cup holders, and an ashtray. Now that very large CD slot is one of the only places you had to set your phone because the rest of the center console is very small, as you can see. Now this Corolla has a 4-speed automatic with overdrive and another power outlet behind the gear selector. Here is the simple glove box, and you can see the airbag pop out, which is an older design. Now the mirror control has integrated 2 lights, and I have my dash cam mounted behind the mirror, which is a very convenient location for me. Now since the 8th gen Corolla is a smaller car, the back seat is much smaller than you would normally get on a newer car. But it has never stopped me from cramming 4 teenage passengers in here and going somewhere except for the lack of power. Now you can see here my center console is broke, but the cup holders that everyone calls flimsy are still holding up great. Now here I am getting behind myself. I'm about a 6 foot tall, very lanky teenager, and you can see I'm very cramped behind this seat, so I wouldn't want to go for a very long drive. Coming around the back of the 8th generation Corolla, you can see all the Corolla badging on the back. There is a key slot to open it, or there's a latch in the driver's footwell to open the trunk. Now the trunk is a very respectable size for how small the car is, and underneath the floor there is a jack and a spare tire. You do have gooseneck hinges which you have to watch out for when you're packing it to the brim, but they're not that big of a problem. The trunk is not lined, but it gives you great access to the rear taillights, and there is an emergency trunk release on the top. There are 2 releases in the back to drop the rear seats, but they don't fold completely flat. It's hard to get them down, and the passageway is very small.